you are the tax man. You are the sovereignty of America. So you are the tax man. That is one of your powers and rights that is laid out in the Bill of Rights. Okay? All taxes are owed to the sovereign or the sovereignty, not to the government. That you are the government in the background as one of the we the people. We gave letters of credit or bonds in that form to the government to operate with. When they send you a tax notice, this is how much money you have coming back. You have to perfect that tax notice into a tax lien and claim that tax. Everything is about taxes. Okay? And also, the process you have to go through is basically there's just a second. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different districts or divisions, field divisions out here under the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration. Okay? You have the Atlanta, you have the Denver, you have the mid-states, you have New York, you have the San Francisco, and you have the Washington, D.C. Inspector General field divisions. I sent in a complaint, okay, of fraud into the Justice Department, Office of Inspector General. They turned around and sent me a letter back, and see, I did that online. They sent me a letter back and said, we forwarded your complaint or whatever to the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration. That's where you have to go to put your claim into them about any tax frauds. Your property tax, when they send you out a property tax, it's not a tax, it's a notice of tax. You have to claim that. Then basically, if you don't claim it, they turn around and they sell it to somebody who will claim it. And that is called a usurpation, okay? And basically the purchaser is a usurper. They have usurped your right to claim those taxes. Just like when you sell a vehicle and you give the certificate of title over to the car dealership, you have just handed over your lien document that you had the right to claim that full value for that vehicle. That car dealership, yeah, they'll give you so much a break, and then they'll turn around, take that certificate, and claim the taxes. The full value that's on that certificate of title. Now, when you look at this, now maybe the 1099As and stuff may come back into play, and also with the 1040 form to properly claim your tax return. But one of the guys went into bankruptcy court, and basically the bankruptcy judge said, you have to perfect your lien. Stop doing that, Tom, please. Or else I'm going to come over there and smack you. Okay?
Yep, I'll mute.
Yeah, if you want to say something, basically say, You've got to be kidding or something like that, okay? But just don't, okay? I don't like that. You guys can speak up anytime. This is basically, I'm saying this is open mic. If you want to talk, talk. Put your 2 cents out here. But all the stuff that we've been doing here recently is still valid. We have to come in and claim this fraud that is being perpetrated against us, and then basically turn around and start putting our documents in. Now we bring in this Treasury Inspector General for tax administration. We have our estate EIN over our taxpayer. Our Social Security person is the taxpayer. We are the tax owner. Therefore, all taxes have to come back to the owner of those taxes. It's not the government, it's not the owner of the taxes. They owe us that because they've already been paid. They have used our assets. Now they owe a tax to us. Everything in this country is operated around taxes. But it's because we haven't been utilizing the tax forms and everything in the right place out here. We have to have our individual banker, and when we got our individual banker, we set up our private bank, a non-profit tax-exempt bank. And then we have our estate EIN. So our individual is the authority to issue an estate tax against our taxpayer. The 98 series number is nothing more than your authority to issue or to terminate your letters of credit against the de jure treasury of the country. We've got the numbers we need. We've got the authority. Then you get your license, your IDs and everything in your individual banker's EIN number, of which the damn state has no jurisdiction over. They can't lien your individual banker. They can't ticket him because he's working for a private bank, and basically the state and the government does not have jurisdiction over a private bank. You buy everything under your private bank's name. Now, I sent some zip packages there about liens. I also sent this other document about the fraud. Okay? Report fraud document. But we need to go and see. I've told people before, Social Security, that Inspector General there, you complain about the fraud using your Social Security, your taxpayer account. I have the fax number in there. Basically, also you can go into the Treasury Inspector General for tax administration and pull up your field representative, and basically they also have a fax number. They have a hotline and everything else. They're there to help us. The IRS has been telling us for years. Here's your taxes that are due to you. Claim them. We're only giving you a notice. You have to perfect the lien. And claim that lien, because that's what they gave you in return. You get a traffic ticket. Basically, you gave them a bond by your signature or a letter of credit. And what did they give you? They gave you the ticket. That is your lien document. Now you have to claim, you have to perfect that lien document and claim it. You go against the county or whatever, the bankrupt. Read the definition of what it says about perfecting a lien out of Ballantyne's dictionary. The completion of the creation of a lien, okay, all one word, okay, and basically when you go through the definitions, you'll see a lien, or a lien, A-L-I-E-N, one word, or you'll see a lien, A, and then next word, lien. Why is it spelled two different ways? Because basically it is something that is different. You're the owner of the lien. But basically, the state or whoever is the owner of the property subject to a lien, but they're only a beneficial owner. You gave them the right of beneficial ownership with that certificate of title. And that's the lien document that you have. They gave you that back in return. Now you have to perfect that lien and take it away from them. Terminate their leasing of your property. Now you put your property into your private bank, but when you're processing this, you're coming in under your individual banker's authority to bring it over into basically being deposited into your private bank, which is totally outside of the controls of the states. They have no jurisdiction, ownership over anything that's in a private bank. They can't regulate it. They can't do shit with it. Now, open the calls up to anybody who wants to talk, Tom.
Oh, okay, the lines are open. I think there are only a couple of muted people.
So Patrick, what you're saying here is, say somebody has an IRS tax lien, they can perfect that lien and then go down and collect the money. Is that
yes.
correct?
They've been telling you, here's how much we owe you.
That's beautiful.
The other side of the looking glass, people.
Yeah. Makes you almost want to go out and get a traffic ticket.
You're still going to be losing out, okay, basically.
Yeah.
And basically, when you get you're not going to have a driver's license anymore. You're going to have an identification card, but your identification card is going to be for your individual banker.
Okay.
Under that EIN number, which basically then the state can't write you a ticket anyway.
Good. Okay, so I only do that once. Okay.
Now, see, you remove yourself out of the system, okay, by using your individual banker's EIN. Basically, that puts you in a non-profit, not-for-hire, tax-exempt status. They can't tax you. They can't lien you, okay, because you're now a private bank and you're a private bank employee.
So,
you guys understand this?
Yeah, perfecting these liens then is an essential part of getting out of the system then.
Right, and basically in some of the cases, perfecting the lien may be nothing more them properly utilizing the 1099-A, B, C, whatever, and the IRS 1040 tax return form to claim that back. But you have to claim it back under your authority as the individual banker and going against your estate EIN that is over your taxpayer who is dead, the account. I put these documents up there to try and get people to start thinking about this. We're trying to pull something together to basically look at which way we need to go. And see, I was looking at this back in 2010 about these secret liens that they're operating with. Well, it's a secret tax lien. Personal property tax lien. A lien for unpaid taxes that are due to us. Just like when I went up to the Attorney General's office, I said, I'll be more than happy to pay taxes if I owe anything, but I haven't been paid yet. I just needed to perfect my lien and basically give it to the Attorney General, say, now pay me.
They never thought you'd say that.
Wow.
So when I went and got ID instead of a driver's license in the interim, just have an ID so I could get notary and all that, I should have used my private estate EIN number rather than my Social Security number.
No, not private estate, your individual banker's EIN.
Right, correct. That's the 98 number.
No, that's not the 98 number. That is
yeah, that's right.
What we got as the 47.
Yeah, 47.
Most of us.
Right. 47 series.
The 98 number, the Foreign Grantor Trust EIN, is only your authority to terminate all of your letters of credit that are charged back to the de jure treasury of the country.
Okay.
See, we've got the right numbers. We've got everything we need.
All right.
If you've got those three EINs.
Yeah.
And all we had to do was figure out, basically, that, hey, the IRS is sending us a tax notice. It's a notice of taxes that are due to us, not due to them. We owe no taxes. We're not the taxpayer. The taxpayer is that Mortimain account that is holding the taxes from us.
So my ID is good. I just need to write a letter and do an addendum or a change on that number. And
you need to basically get that registered with the Secretary of State to get a proper identification number under your individual banker's EIN and void out the Social Security number on there.
Right.
You're not the dead Mortimain person.
Right.
You have to become the living individual banker.
Yeah.
And then, like I said, they can't tax the individual banker or your private bank. They can't place a lien on you. They can't write a ticket against my vehicle because I have not given them jurisdiction over it. It's private property in my private bank. There's other groups out there. You guys had better be aware of okay, most of these other groups out here are total frauds. They've never said anything about all of these 3 tax ID numbers. Your 3 persons, proper persons, okay, of getting a state EIN, of getting an individual banker's EIN, and of getting a foreign grantor trust EIN. Most of them are out there trying to get you to send them things so that they can turn around in the back room and draw against your account. These are con artists. One of them out there is basically this outfit out of Texas, run by this Dr. Hindu or whatever, Hondu or whatever Henderson, and a woman by the name of Stella or Shirley Boland, and it's called Sovereign Civil People's Rights Trust. And in a lot of cases, it's doing, basically they're perpetrating themselves as basically being Moors, having the authority over this trust that they're trying to set up, this world trust that they're trying to set up, saying that the Moors are basically the chosen people or whatever, with the rights out here. Total bullshit. Anybody can basically come in and put claims out here. We did this. We did that. Because in a lot of cases, you will never find out who really did it. Who took down this person? Well, in a lot of cases, it's the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration. They have big authority of enforcement. Most all of these courts are nothing more than tax courts, either state tax courts or federal tax courts. And basically the federal tax court is really the bankruptcy court. And just like that bankruptcy judge told that one person, you need to perfect your lien. Okay. Questions? More questions? Rebuttals?
How do we go about perfecting the lien?
Huh?
How do we go about perfecting the lien, and what?
That's what you need to do a little research on.
Right.
Okay.
That's where the
Okay, I
1099.
posted some documents up there. You need to get off your fucking ass and go out and do some research yourself. I said I posted some documents up there that I was trying to use back in 2010. I'm working on trying to come up with something to perfect the lien, to even go back into my county courthouse tomorrow morning and basically come in and claim the $5,000 of credits that I had there, that I've got to come in under a tax lien, and basically also that basically if this is not done, I will be informing the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration of the fraud that they're perpetrating against me. That damn county attorney and basically that court will basically get off their ass because they know the power of the CID and the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration. You have to break out the dictionary. I put a bunch of word definitions up there to try and help you people. I'm not trying to control you people. I'm only trying to help enlighten you. You need to do your own due diligence and get out here. But stay away from all these other groups that are trying to control you. I'm not trying to control you, really. I don't give a shit. I'm just trying to put the truth out there to you. You need to go and verify the truth. Now, if you have a problem with that, sorry.
Well, Patrick, thank you for all that honesty. You are a good human being. Thank you. Because other people have been taken for a ride for many years. And you're the only one preaching the truth and without asking anything in exchange. That says a lot about your moral character. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you.
We just had to keep looking and keep knocking, and basically we will knock the tree down, just like the Hebrews had to run around the walls of Jericho before they finally came tumbling down. What'd they do, 7 times or something like that?
7 times?
Tooting their damn horns?
7 times. And in the 7th one, the walls crumbled.
Yep. But Daniel, Moses, Jesus, almost all the prophets in the Bible, they were trying to tell people how to come out of the system, out of this Jezebel banking system. These guys are all operating in bankruptcy. What did Jesus do when he went into the temple? He turned the tables over on the money changers. When you turn a table over, you have just placed them in bankruptcy. See, they're the bankrupts. And a bankrupt is nothing more than a bank robber. They're robbing you as the real Bank of America. See, that's what pissed Jesus off, because he knew that they were ripping him off. And then Pilate stood behind him. Pilate was the Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration there in Israel, out of the Roman Empire. He was the Patriarch Tax Inspector.
Prefect.
Just like St. Patrick was, and he ran all the damn banking snakes out of Ireland.
Interesting.
So these notices I got from the IRS is money they owe me.
Yep.
Yes, they're sending you a notice that they owe you some money. You just need to claim that lien and perfect it and turn around and claim it. It's not, the government doesn't own them. The taxpayer owes you the money. Your account, your monomain person is the taxpayer.
They got it word here saying that it is my unpaid federal taxes.
Yeah, that's a notice of lien.
Yeah. Well, I guess I hit the jackpot.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. They said they're talking about my Social Security account information. They have a claim account number of my social without dashes. Then they say beneficiary's own account number is the same number.
Yeah.
Beneficiary's own account number is that number without dashes.
So you're going to come in under your individual tax banker's number, okay, to put your claim in. Okay, that's your authority. That's who is really putting the claim in, but it's going against your estate that basically the Social Security, your taxpayer, is part of your estate.
Yeah. And I had a friend.
That's just one of your estate persons. Okay? You've got another estate person under your certificate of title to the vehicle, under that account number, under your certificate of title to the property. That's another taxpayer that owes you money.
Yeah, they just got the thing. They say they want property taxes.
Yeah, and then basically, if you don't put this claim in, the court is going to turn around and sell your tax lien to somebody else, and they will profit from your taxes that are due to you.
Yeah, I had a friend that was very, very good at the 1099s. He was teaching that got a lot of people to get their homes back, but he's gone now.
Yeah, but see, in a lot of cases, these other people didn't have all their 3 EINs that they needed to have. They didn't have the foreign grant or trust EIN, which gives you the authority to terminate all your letters of credit.
Yeah,
They didn't have the estate EIN to turn around and have control over all your estate property out here that is being held in these mortmain accounts. And then he didn't have the individual banker's EIN, which gave you your private authority to come in and claim those taxes back and put them into a private, non-for-profit, non-for-hire, tax-exempt bank.
So,
See, some of these people were close, but they were missing some of the pieces.
Yeah, he was going to teach me about the 1099s, but he moved out of Cincinnati, and I've never seen it since. Trying to figure out how to set up an account for the private banker. I mean, I got the number, but do I need to have? Now it can't be tied into the commercial banks, right?
No, it's your back pocket.
Okay.
It's the coffee jar in your backyard. That's your private bank.
So my address and my zip code is my private.
Wherever you want to deposit your cookie jar or whatever, that's your private bank.
Right here where I stand.
Yes. Wherever you want to stand. You want to put it over here in some other, you want to buy this property over here and put it over there, put it there. And you live over here.
I got a question.
Go ahead.
Patrick, for somebody like I who has been homeless for many years and has never ever bought property or been able to afford a car or other things to get titles other than ID, I've never even paid taxes. How can I claim something back if I have not even ever paid taxes? That was one of the things when the marshal came up to me, said, "You've never paid taxes." And I said, "The living don't pay taxes." And he didn't say anything to me about it.
Yeah, he didn't tell you the rest of the story, did he? The living didn't pay taxes. But you have to be able to come in and claim your taxes, and you can turn around and put a lien against your dead mortmain account. You have a Social Security account, you can put a claim in against that Social Security dead man. Now that you've got your estate EIN and your individual banker's EIN.
I got the state, I got the individual, and I got the foreign grantors. I got those all three.
Yeah, and now you need to listen to the call of what I just said a couple more times because you didn't hear what I just said. You need to perfect your lien against your taxpayer.
Okay. And the taxpayer is the Social Security individual.
Account, yes.
Okay. Yeah.
He's the dead mortmain person.
So you're going after his head legally.
He is the taxpayer. He owes you the taxes.
Okay. Thank you, Patrick.
Okay.
I did get that.
I know you didn't. That's why I basically jumped on you, because you didn't hear what I was saying. You need to clean out your ears. That's why they put out cotton swabs.
I need to clean out a lot more than just my ears, okay?
Well, I know there's quite a few people who need to do that. That's why you need to almost go and take a 40-day hiatus. That's what Moses had to do, was take 40 years to get rid of all the bullshit that they've been taught all their life.
Yeah. Okay.
Anybody else have any questions? Now you guys ought to start interfacing a lot more with one another on the group site and on the Skype groups. Start talking about this. What do you think the proper way is to place and to perfect a tax lien?
We'll start by the definitions and read it all in all the dictionaries.
And then basically put out what you see as your understanding, and basically get other people to start interfacing and putting their 2 cents in and seeing where it leads.
The way you taught us, to read it over and over again and then highlight what ties it together.
Yeah, but stay away from all these other frauds out here that are bullshit. Like that guy over in Hong Kong. Listening to people that just keep reiterating the same fucking bullshit over and over again, like Angela Stark and like this Texas or Dallas Debt talk shoe and some of these others out here. Those guys really don't want to know the truth. Most of them are out there selling you something or trying to get you to give them something, and they will use it in the background against you. But they're not really looking for the real truth because they can't handle it. As A Few Good Men, the movie A Few Good Men pointed out, you can't handle the truth.
There's been a lot of people trying to restore the original, the United States of America, and then keep doing the same thing.
The original United States of America is still here.
Yeah.
Okay? It's America. You came from the land, basically after 3 generations, just right out of the Bible. After 3 generations, you are now a full-blooded native citizen of that country or of that land. We are the trustees of the land. Now, when we come of age, we are now an electoral trustee and a principal electoral trustee. And the first word of principal is prince. Mm-hmm. Therefore, you are the sovereignty of the land. Therefore, all the taxes are owed to the sovereignty. See how this all plays out?
Yeah.
This is all covered in the statutes. You just don't know how to read them. And then the vast majority of people will go out there and basically, well, this is too hard. This ain't that hard. In fact, this is really pretty damn simple. That going to all these other gurus and everything else Basically, that is hard. But see, that is the mindset of the people. We've got to make it as complicated as possible, because otherwise it can't be right.
I've never seen any churches ever teach how important it was that Jesus turned over the tables of the money changers and, maybe whipped a ear off or whatever he did.
Yeah, and basically mentioned the word bankrupt, to basically place those money changers into bankrupt and declared them to be bank robbers, operating under the Jezebel banking system. They were robbing, they were operating in usury, okay? Not giving anything in return, but using your assets for their own profits and gains unjustly. They don't put any work into this country. They don't build anything that supports the people of this country. They only do it for their benefit, to control you.
And they built the whole de facto system to do it.
Yeah. And then got a whole bunch of nitwit people going to these damn law schools, getting a damn bar card, thinking that they know what the law is.
Bill Smith.
Now, this is all, so everything out here has to be done by you turning around and perfecting your lien, getting on the other side of a looking glass and claiming those liens back. They're giving you a notice of lien. Now, you have to claim that lien, as that is your property that has to be returned to you. So therefore, in some cases, it may boil down that we need to go back in and take a look at the 1099s and also about filling out the 1040 form properly, or the 1041 form as a tax return to us.
1041.
More likely the 1041 form, because that is for estate taxes. See, it says individual tax return. Well, now you've got your individual banker EIN. So basically, individual and individual. Oh, shit. My goodness. It's right there on the damn form. You need to have that individual banker's EIN to properly claim and perfect your lien in the process. When you got that individual banker's EIN, you just basically put the kibosh to your perfected lien claim.
Patrick,
Yes.
can you confirm that the individual banker is gotten through a W-7 form as opposed to online?
No.
To a W-7 form.
Applications, I believe, for individual or international tax identification number, the ITIN.
No, we've got it in our national system here. We've got it when we did the SS4, we got the individual banker, and we had to declare who he was an employee for. So I don't know about this W-7 form, okay? I'll take a look at it, though.
Because that's the only thing that I've found so far that has the upper lowercase name on a green card, a treasury card that would make sense to support any of these other all caps EINs.
Well, see, but basically a W-7, basically, in lieu of doing a W-4 form for employment, okay, you might use the W-7 for employment with another corporation out here, but he's not for hire or for profit in the process. He's not to have his Social Security account hired out. They can't go out and place a lien and turn around and use his account to pay your salary.
However, on the W-7 form, it has a place where one is required to sign under penalties of perjury. So if the IRS is just a service, what's the alternative?
Okay. Let me stop you right here, okay? Your individual banker is a fiction. He's not the living person. You don't give a shit about a fiction signed under penalty of perjury. It's all bullshit. It's an intimidation, fraud, and basically they hoodwink you into that system in their damn fraudulent banking courts. They're Jezebel banking courts. You as the living are just your given name. And then you are of the family or whatever. That is the living. And the living isn't going to sign any of these documents out here. But he can come in our private documents and put the order in and verify that basically this person is working for our private bank. See the difference? I'm asking you a question, okay?
Yes.
But
do you see the difference?
No, I don't. Because if the IRS is just a service, then what's the alternative that we could do ourselves to go around that if we wanted to?
Yes. And basically, the vast majority of the IRS is basically out there to protect the beneficial owners. But there is the de jure part of the IRS, like under this Treasury Inspector General for tax administration, using the TT&L system, which you need to have your 9-digit bank routing numbers, and that's what your EINs are 9-digit bank routing numbers. Even your zip code for your mailbox is a 9-digit bank routing number using the TT&L system. You guys really understand what I just said and most of this stuff tonight?
I have now.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I just didn't understand what TTL is.
Right.
Tax transmitting liens.
Oh, that's the new thing that we're talking about today, right?
No, that's basically my interpretation of it right now, because
right.
What we're talking about is liens.
Right.
and we're doing a tax transfer. It's not, all these words or these letters out here are not necessarily what people have been groomed to believe they mean.
Yeah.
These guys don't come out and they say the CID or they say the FBI. And basically then on a website they might give the appearance that is the Federal Bureau of Investigation, but it's really the federal banking investigators. Because everything is done about banking in this country.
Right. The FBI has been the one that goes after people for false loan applications. They're throwing people in jail.
Well, for false loan application, for selling drugs, for anything. It's all about banking.
Yeah.
Al Capone, the FBI went after him because he was selling contraband alcohol.
Yeah.
He was banking profits off of that illegal sale. But there again, that is, in a lot of cases, that's under the Jezebel banking system, because if Al Capone would have really known what the shit was going on, the government cannot, under codes of law, regulate morality. That is a false religion. That's in violation of the First Amendment. All these codes of law are moral laws. It's just like you belong to the Methodist or the Presbyterian or the Jehovah's Witness or whatever. The Moorish temple, under their false moral laws, they're controlling you. And that's a religion. And that's what all these codes of law out here, they're religious moral laws, which are frauds. The government cannot create a religion. It's against the First Amendment. They were never supposed to regulate the morality of the people. And by going out and committing rape or molesting a little child, that is not a moral issue. That is a trespass. That is a harm caused. So, don't mix and match the damn laws and think that basically they all come under the same heading. You want to smoke marijuana? That's your prerogative. The government cannot regulate that. But they can regulate the banking, the profits that are made off the sale of that transaction in the commercial world. Any other questions, comments?
Not really.
Yeah, can you talk about the TT&L system more?
What?
Can you talk to us about the TT&L system?
You
As
can
opposed
look it
to
up
going to the IRS?
online.
Yeah, I typed it in and nothing comes up. TT&L system.
TT&L system, basically, it's on a lot of the IRS documents, okay? TT&L numbers and stuff like that. And basically, it is the banking transfer numbers that basically are being utilized under the 9-digit bank routing numbers. There's information out there on, it's TT and you have to put a plus sign, L. T, T, and L. And then you might have to get a better search engine. Dogpile.com is one that basically will go in and do a lot better search than Google or Yahoo or whatever search engine you're using.
Treasury tax and loan. It's under Wikipedia.
Yeah, see, that's the term they use, but that's not really what it is. It's transfer, tax, and liens. They ain't going to tell you the truth. The ones that are controlling this stuff, basically the deceivers, they're going to put out as much bum information to keep you off guard as possible. You've got to read between the lines. What are they not telling us? Just like this tax notice. What didn't they tell us? But yet that bankruptcy judge did tell one of the guys, you need to perfect your lien. You are the lien holder, the lien holder. They gave you a lien in return for your bond or your property or your letter of credit. Now you can use either the bankruptcy forms, the IRS taxing forms, or basically your tickets, like at the state level, or basically your certificate of title to the property, to the vehicle, and turn those into the Secretary of State or to the Attorney General's office and claim your property back that was under lien. Terminate their beneficial ownership, and they have to give all you're terminating the trust at the same time. Now, all the assets of that trust have to come back to the owner or the grantor of the trust, and you were the original grantor of the trust. And as the foreign grantor trustee, you have the authority to terminate those letters of credit. We got more damn authority now than you could shake a stick at. And now these inspector generals will pay attention to us. Hell, the Justice Department acknowledged me, and basically sent it over to the right inspector general, the Social Security inspector general, when I claimed about fraud there. They hopped right on it. They knew damn well that they're operating in fraud. Harold and I tried to tell you over 6 months ago, almost a year ago, because it was in June or April or June there, that basically we went to the Social Security Inspector General and got results. And then some of you guys have claimed, well, I did that. I went to him, but you didn't go to him in the right capacity.
Right.
You didn't do something right. You came in and tried to act like a belligerent or something in the process. You didn't know what you were really saying. You only think you know what you're saying, and basically you screwed it up. You didn't do the research that you needed to know how the banking system in this country works. Any other questions, comments, rebuttals?
No, Patrick, I just got to wrap my head around all this.
Okay. You got those documents, Tom, right?
Right. I have them all posted.
Okay.
And I'm
Patrick, just use those as basically a reference starting point, okay?
Right, to do our research.
Yeah, and basically then try and utilize some of the information out there as basically, but you need to understand the banking system, and now you can come back in and also knowing about the tax, that you are the tax owner, you own the taxes, and basically they're telling you how much taxes they owe you, your taxpayer person owes you. You have to turn around and claim that. And we've got our EINs with the authority to do this. And then we have our 98 series EIN as a foreign grantor trust to come in and have the authority to terminate any letter of credit that we put out there, because they're using our letters of credit fraudulently as collateral in their Jezebel banking system.
Patrick, this private notice of counter and offsetting secret liens, I see it says Iowa 8th District Court, but is that something that could be filed?
I was working on that back in 2010. Okay, I never fully completed it. And see, I was going in initially under the secret lien process, that I didn't know what the secret lien was. It's a tax lien.
Okay.
That's the secret. And see, Alfred A. Dack, or whatever his name is, basically he has, or somebody else, I think, had another document, a PDF there, that talked about secret liens. But they never mentioned the tax liens. And we know everything out here in this country operates as a tax. And it's all taxes that are owed to us because all of these corporations and banks have been using our assets for years. So that's why everything is essentially prepaid. You can take all your receipts now and put a current return, tax return claim against all those receipts.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, see, they owe us. Those are tax receipts. And we have to come in and claim those receipts, taxes. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
That's what I was going to ask. That makes total sense to me.
Yeah. It's too logical. I mean, basically, that's what Dr. Spock would say.
Yeah, that's true. Too easy, almost.
Yeah. See, that's why most people won't believe it, because that's too damn simple.
So our martyr man's actually holding all of our taxes right there. We just go get them out.
Yeah, and that's what they're saying. They see even the state. And see, our taxes are being held in the capper fund at the state level. It's a mortmain account. They owe us those taxes, property tax or tax, basically for the usage of our vehicle, whatever. I need to go back in for the $18,000. Basically, I haven't seen the Attorney General trying to come back after me for that, because basically I've got some documents out there that basically, and now with my EINs and everything, they know that they'd be fucking with the wrong person, especially now that I have my individual banker's EIN.
Makes total sense.
Yeah, they throw you in jail, turn around and put a tax lien against them, against the county or against the state, whoever put you in jail, or against the federal bankrupt United States bankrupt trust. Your mortmain taxpayer person also is one of the defendants in your claim, and you would be putting a claim in against his account and drawing the funds back out, because they had to put the funds over there, the taxes over there.
Would that be a claim under fraud?
Everything out here is being operated in fraud. Yes, use the word fraud. But you also need to use the word tax lien.
We need to play their game.
We're not playing their game. We're playing the game that we have been put into here. Okay?
Right, by them. Right.
And see, this is all protected by the Constitution and by the statutes. We just didn't see those items in the statutes or the Constitution that gave us this right.
Yeah, like you said, we didn't know which way to look through the looking glass. Now we have to learn. We're learning how to look the other way through the looking glass.
Yeah, you need to revert back to the original Bill of Rights. And then you need to come fast forward up to 1868 or 69, whenever the 15th Amendment was signed, and stop. Anything after that point in time is now under the fraudulent United States bankrupt trust statutory codes of law, a new religion, a governmental religion that does not apply to you. You have to leave that church. You have to go back to your own church, to where you are the Father, the God of your own church. There is no hocus pocus Yahweh, Father Yahweh, floating around out here, going to protect your ass. You have to do it yourself. Your spirit is in the driver's seat of your body. You call upon Him, His understanding, His knowledge of right and wrong. Stop going into foreign territory when you've got your own home ground right there in your own body. You want the truth? It's right there. You're not going to find it anywhere else.
Well, you're a hell of a researcher, Patrick, and I really appreciate you for everything you've done for all of us.
Well, now it's up to you guys.
Yep, ball's in our court. We got to push it now.
Yep.
Yeah, they tricked us even with the word Yahweh, because Yahweh means eagerly coveting, falling, desire, ruin, calamity, inequity, mischief, naughtiness, noisome, perverse, and very wicked.
Yeah, and what's the first letter in Yahweh?
Why?
No, you.
Oh, okay. Whatever. I didn't know that.
Why? It's a Y.
Yeah.
A three-legged U.
Yeah.
Three persons in one. That's what a Y is. It means you.
I'll put the
Even Jesus
definition
knew
on.
that one. Okay. Any other questions, comments, rebuttals, whatever? Going once?
Yeah.
Twice?
Yeah, I got a question.
Okay.
So as opposed to the Federal Reserve Bank, where is actually the de jure bank of the nation?
You must
The
not.
de jure bank of the nation is in you.
Right.
With your birth certificate, you have the authority to issue letters of credit against the de jure treasury of the country. Now, when you've got your 98 series number, you now have the official authority to terminate all your letters of credit. Because you have now come of age and you have the proper understandings of what that is all about.
Well, it's my understanding that there wasn't an actual bank that was set up because Hamilton subverted that, or with the Treasury or Department of
The national bank that was out there was always in the people. The post office was the delivery system of the American bank. The Justice Department was the trustee for the just exchangement of the assets. So much gold and so much silver allowed them to convert that into so many dollars that were to be placed in circulation. The Treasury, Secretary of the Treasury, was the storage keeper over the Treasury of the country. And then the Postmaster General was the trustee for the delivery of those assets to the private people that owned the bank, the Treasury. Hamilton came in and basically says Congress wouldn't authorize the assets to come out of the bank because they were supposed to be our representatives. We elected them to do that, but they couldn't agree upon how much they wanted to put into circulation. So Hamilton, basically the traitor that he was, set up a foreign bank to do that transaction, operating under letters of credit and under usury, thereby coming in and helping to destroy the country, putting us under a false system. And see, Benjamin Franklin basically went over to England and said, hey, we've got our own banking system here that we can draw on using the continental dollars. But see, the Articles of Confederation, the first attempt to set up an American banking system, governmental banking system, failed because they needed to have 100% agreement of all the 13 colonies. They could never get that. That's why old George Washington basically almost froze to death there at Valley Forge because the damn government wasn't helping fund them. You got to look back at history and see what really took place. But the people, individuals, they always had the power to go in and put a claim in, either by having a private law issued, by going to their 2 state senators and petitioning them to go and have a private law, a draw against the Treasury. And see, you only need to have a tribunal to pass a private law. Your 2 state senators and the president pro tem of the Senate hold a private Senate meeting and pass a private law. 2 out of 3 have to agree. And it becomes a private law. Because the 2 state senators represent all the people in the state, where the House of Representatives only represents a certain portion in a certain district within the state.
How would
you
that?
Don't...
Oh,
go ahead.
How would the 2 senators and the pro temp make a private law if both the senators are engaged in insurrection and rebellion with the
I'm going back to the original Constitution, okay? Not this fraudulent corporate bankrupt system that we're operating under right now, okay? They have passed no more private laws since roughly 1933. You can look that up in the statutes at large.
Well, then that's not an option at this point, correct?
I
mean, it's good.
It's not an option at this point. It's no longer an option. You have the option by having your birth certificate on file as you are an inheritor of the Treasury. So by that birth certificate, you were able to issue letters of credit against the Treasury. You didn't have to get a private law passed anymore.
And that Treasury would be the post office?
No. The Treasury of America. You have the Treasury Depository account. That belongs to the people. Okay, it don't belong to the government. It belongs to we the people, the trustees of the land of America. The government is not a trustee of the land. We were born as a trustee, but we weren't born an electoral trustee until we come of age. Then when we come of age, we can terminate any trustee letters of lien or letters of credit that we issued out here. Under basically all these damn fraudulent contracts, either by our guardians or by our own signature in the process. When you sign that Social Security card, you signed it underage. That action is covered by the Baby Act out here. That you can come in and terminate that fraudulent action. Because these foreign bankers got you into a fraudulent contract. But you were the grantor to them by your signature. You granted them so many credits out of the Treasury, letters of credit, not real assets. You only gave them a right to place a lien against the Treasury. You follow this? It ain't that hard.
So now you got to put a lien on the Treasury against your mortmain to get your.
I didn't understand a damn thing you just said.
Well, now it would be having to put within the Treasury a lien upon your mortmain, if I'm correct, right?
We basically got the Social Security card. That's a lien document. Okay?
Yes.
Whenever we gave a signature letter of credit, that mortgage is really a liening document. When we signed the right-hand side of that contract, that mortgage or bank loan or whatever, we signed on the right-hand side. We gave a letter of credit. Then they deposited that letter of credit into a mortmain account and turned around and gave us a copy of this mortgage or whatever, but it is a lien document. That's where we have to come in and perfect our claim against the lien. And we've done that by getting our 3 EINs. Do you guys understand the power of those 3 EINs?
Yes,
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah.
This is all done on an individual basis. You don't go to a damn group effort and try and get this shit done. It won't work.
Yeah, like you said, it authorizes us to terminate the letter of credit that we did before, most likely underage, protected by the Baby Act, or by fraud.
Yeah, and basically then we also have our individual bankers' authority to come in and claim the taxes that are owed to us.
By being we the people,
Yeah.
and being private.
Yeah, and then basically placing it in our private bank that they cannot touch.
Yeah. Yeah, you summed it up all earlier, but, you're just reviewing it.
Yeah.
That guy must not be listening.
Well, he came into the call later or something. Basically, needs to go back and listen to when I came in, which was about 20 minutes or 30 minutes into the call. I don't know what you guys were talking about. Of course, Tom didn't have that recorder on either until I came on, so I don't think you missed much.
All I was talking about is I was reading the definitions on your fraud document.
Uh-huh. But you can also go in there and add a couple others about usurpation and usurper. And see, that's what a lot of these people, these guys that buy your property, tax is what they're doing, is they're coming in and trying to claim your property and also trying to claim the taxes that are due to you in that tax sale. And then they're going to split it with the judge or whoever in the back room. Because most of these damn people that buy these things at tax sales are basically attorneys. Fraudulent attorneys. There are a few good attorneys, but they still don't know what the damn law really is. Because they've been inundated with all this bullshit. And that's what happened to one guy that was a public defender and said, hey, how come I'm getting $1,700 paid for sending somebody to jail, but if I get him off, I only get paid $500. Something ain't adding up here. He couldn't handle it anymore because he knew something was morally wrong. But there's very few of those guys that basically go along with that and get out of the system. I mean, how many people you go to church and basically, oh yeah, they're listening to the damn gospel and epistles or whatever, and basically the word of God supposedly, and basically they go out and they stab their neighbor in the back the next minute. Yeah. Just like what Jesus told you in the parable about the damn shithead that went up to the front row and said, "Oh, look how good I am." And then the guy that came in the back row and with his head down and begged for forgiveness. Who was the one that felt better in the long run? The guy in the back, not that shithead up front. He's the one that basically tried to come to the wedding that was not prepared properly. These stories have been out here. Moral stories, movies, everything out here has been trying to tell you a lot of this stuff. The James Bond movies. Why was 007 named Bond? And why did he have the license to kill? Because he basically had his system and he was able to go out and kill the liens. That's really what the James Bond movies were all about, was he was able to go out and kill the leaners, the evils. But he had his license. Now you have your license with your 3 EINs. You have your license to kill all these fraudulent banking liens. Okay, I'm done talking. Talk to you guys later.
Okay.
Thank you, Patrick.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
Really informative call. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you.